Levi, and I'm joined by Dimmer.
Hi.
Welcome back to Parallel Lives. This is episode 5 of the podcast. Today we'll be talking about sort of like a day in the life of a maladaptive daydreamer, basically. So, yeah, welcome. Hope you enjoy.
Joining us today, we have Marie, a 19-year-old university student from Germany, Jack Black, an American college student, and Miriam from Canada. So, how much of your average day would you guess, just a guesstimate, is devoted to daydreaming? Not just like daydreaming, but also like just sort of passively drifting off, world building, looking for inspiration or avoiding inspiration. Everything that envelops daydreaming, like how much of your day would you guess is devoted just to daydreaming centric things? Do you want to go first, Jack?
Sure. Kind of like, I don't see many people talking about this, but I do like 24/7 type of daydreaming passively. So like I'm always kind of in a daydreaming world. But I'm not really a world builder, so I don't do a lot of like researching or world building or whatever.
How about you, Marie?
For me, it depends on how much I have to do in a day. So when I have like a really busy day in university, then it's not so much because I can push it back a bit, like 8 to 9 hours a day maybe, or yeah. It's actually a lot, but also I consume a lot of media, so that's also maybe another 3 hours of like watching YouTube or for my inspiration or researching something.
And Miriam?
For me, it's like average would be around 3 hours, but it could change depending on, sometimes it ends up being 6 hours or less than three if I'm like in a better state of mind. But this is like for the active daydreaming. The passive, I don't know, like that's always in the back of my mind. And I don't really spend that much time world building, so that's not an issue. But otherwise, passively, like I'm always like drifting off and stuff, but like actively, as in where I have to stop what I'm doing, or I just like start pacing around the room or something. That would be like around average of 3 hours.
Yeah, I know that was kind of a vague, big umbrella question with a lot of like variation that's really hard to quantify.
I have sort of a question just to sort of weasel in there. I was wondering whether anyone else sort of has trouble how can I say this? I was wondering if other maladaptive daydreamers or anyone here feels like days are really short because you don't really get to sort of focus your time on both maladaptive daydreaming and everything else that you do. Does anyone else feel that way?
Well, if I don't have much going on in a day other than daydreaming, or if I'm spacier than usual, it feels kind of like a 0 day, like it didn't really exist.
Yeah, that's the same for me. So I also like when it's Sunday or something like that, sometimes it's like I don't get to do anything out of daydreaming. So yeah, a short day.
Yeah, it could be like a short. Like I have other reasons why it could be short, because sometimes I just like sleep in too much. But yeah, maladaptive daydreaming is like could be one of the reasons why my day feels short.
I never noticed that before. I think it's true. Yeah, days do feel short. Not just days, but like life. Maybe that's just because I'm older, but everything moves so fast. I feel like I'm waiting for the weekend. You know that feeling where you're just like waiting for the weekend and then it's the next week and the next week and the next week and it goes by really quick. Except
Yeah.
that's every day.
Man, for me it's just like I need to get so much done, and then it's like I start to do work and then I daydream, and then when I look at the clock it's like, oh, it's night. I don't have any more time to work, and it's because of maladaptive daydreaming. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just something that that I've noticed recently, but yeah, it is very true as people said, it also depends on the day. Like if it's a weekday, then it's like, nah, we're chill. But yeah.
I think that leads really well into actually like when is it the hardest to control? Like, is there a time in your day where it's just there's not really much else you're going to be able to focus on?
Yeah, I guess it's like when you're going to sleep and your thoughts are just like racing all over the place, and I really need to focus on sleeping. So, like, I guess waking up in the morning and sleeping is that's usually when it's like the hardest.
Yeah, so that's the same for me. In the morning, or especially when it's like late at night and like recall like whole day it out in your head.
That's the time you get completely to yourself, nobody else to bug you. So it makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Is it just because there's nobody else around? I don't know.
Oh, definitely. Like for me, if I cannot be left alone in a place, because I know I'll just drift into a daydream, and it's like really hard to control.
What about you, Jackie? Are you kind of the same? Morning and night is worst.
Yeah, I've I'm sleep deprived a lot of the time because I spend like the whole night pacing and talking to myself, which is a very sane activity.
Totally same. I've noticed that too. I get the urge, I mean, immediately upon waking, and I think is that one of the official symptoms? I'm not sure. I'd have to go look back.
There's something about it, maybe in a questionnaire or something.
I think it's also it has to do with like, when you wake up, the day hasn't started yet. Things aren't as busy as it is during the day. And then at night, everything is calm and chill. I think that also might play a role in it, but that might just be a me thing.
Yeah, you wanna stretch out that time that you get not in the middle of things.
Yeah.
I think Miriam and Marie both said something about like at night when your thoughts are racing. My thoughts don't race though. They go directly to my plot that, plods along or races along depending on what's happening. But yeah, I don't get that. I don't get the thoughts racing thing. I just go directly to plot.
For me, it's like I can't focus on one thought. Like even like I've noticed, like I've been trying to figure out ways to just fall asleep, right? So I noticed if I can just focus on one thought, I can still go to sleep. But my thoughts, they're just like going all over the place, and I just really need to calm down, or like not move at all. Even sometimes even melatonin doesn't help, which is sad.
Yeah, I take melatonin too. I know this is an episode devoted to like our daily lives, but we'll do an episode on sleep sometime in the future. But how you sleep really does affect like the next day, because like Jack Black said, I'm up all night, daydreaming, and I've never slept well in my life, and then the next day I'm tired, which just leads to your mind wandering off more. And just it's a vicious cycle. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, you get all spacey. I also get cranky.
Yeah, like for me, it's like I get like really I'm always tired, but if I don't sleep well, I get like really cranky. I actually slept at after 3 last night, and that was after I took melatonin. I was like, this is not good. But yeah, sleep really does affect how your next day goes. It's like if you can just sleep on time and wake up on time, that would really help.
This is kind of, oh man, veering off topic here, but yeah, when you do get a good night's sleep, have you ever noticed that it's easier to control, or you're happier, or just more well adjusted or whatever?
Yeah, I feel like it's just like healthier to like have a good night's sleep, and the next day you feel better. But yeah, I like for me, I don't need like the 8 hours sleep. I need more for some reason, maybe because of my depression or for whatever reason. Like I feel like I need more hours of sleep. But like yeah, I'm like usually always tired.
Yeah, I know I asked the question, but I honestly don't think even I could answer it because what even is normal sleep? I don't know. I've never had that.
For me, it's like I don't really have problems with sleeping. So maybe I don't need that much sleep, but I usually sleep like 4 hours a day or night, and I don't really get tired that much during the day. I don't know what it is, but it's helping a bit that I don't get like tired or cranky.
How long would you say it actually takes you guys to fall asleep? Well, especially Marie, because Marie said they don't have a problem. Does it help you fall asleep, or do you just sleep despite the daydreaming?
Daydreaming does not help me to sleep, so I usually take like maybe like 3 hours to sleep. So I sleep at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I usually wake up like at 5 or 6 a.m. So I always try to wake up early in the morning so I can daydream before I go like to work or to university. Maybe sometimes I sleep during the day. Daydreaming definitely doesn't help sleeping, so I try to go to sleep and then I end up daydreaming for like 3 more hours or something like that. So
I've heard other people say that too, that they actually wake up early to have time to daydream. I don't do that, but do you guys do that, Jack or Miriam?
I kind of just wake up early naturally, but it is nice having that time to kind of get ready for the day mentally, not just literally, but like emotionally prepare while daydreaming.
For me, it's like I do try to wake up early because it takes me a while to start the day. Like I notice it takes me like at least 2 hours to actually wake up and get out of bed. So I'm like, okay, the earlier I wake up, the better it is. But yeah, I'm like trying to reduce that 2 hour thing because it's not really helpful.
So Jack, you said it helps you prepare mentally and emotionally for the day. What would happen to you if you didn't get that time?
It probably, well, if I don't have time, not just for daydreaming, but time to kind of face a day, I'm kind of stunned and like, what am I doing through the first half? But then I get my bearings. But daydreaming isn't really all that helpful, so not being able to daydream wouldn't be a big deal.
So we were talking about the how maladaptive daydreaming sort of affects our sleep and things like that, and that ties sort of directly to the next question, right? How does daydreaming hinder your day?
yeah, so I try to get things done, but it doesn't work. Like maybe I'm like procrastinating, or I don't know what. Like when I'm daydreaming, I spend a few hours daydreaming, and then I don't get things done, and then I get frustrated, and then I don't want to daydream even more because I like think, oh, I can't get it done anyway. Or first thing is maybe not being able to like study or go to work like without being yeah, frustrated or without wanting to daydream. I don't really know how to describe it. So
I guess it makes sense for all of us. We're maladaptive daydreamers where we have to do stuff, but we also want to daydream. And sometimes we don't want to daydream, but our mind is like, hey, daydream time. So then it just happens anyway. And I think that that's where the maladaptiveness also comes in, where it just interferes with things. And yeah.
I kind of have trouble with procrastination in part because I'm constantly daydreaming. So it's like constantly being with other people. Like you feel self-conscious. You're writing an essay and you're like, nobody can see this. So it kind of feels, it's like imaginary friends, but you feel like there's somebody actually there, kind of. You have the pressure.
Yeah, it's like a issue of procrastination. I guess more of and like emotional regulation because yeah, I just like keep drifting off into daydreams when I should be like doing things, and then like you have 3 less hour of a day to get stuff done. And then like for me, like being productive is like really important. I feel like I've done something important today. I'm just like not being useless. It's like especially at work. Like if you keep I would just keep drifting into daydreams when I should be working, and you're getting paid per hour. And if you just like wasted half an hour daydreaming, that what are you getting paid for? So I feel bad. I would feel bad about that. But it's like, yeah, it's like a thing. It's like an issue of procrastination, or like even studying. Like, yeah, I guess like doing anything it really affects your productivity.
Do you guys seek out solitude?
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. I've actually recently noticed that it's like a it's like more of a subconscious thing. Like I'm trying to be away, like always trying to be in a room when nobody else is there, probably because I could drift off into a daydream. That's like for instance, I'll be there with my mom in the kitchen, and there's like stuff to do in the kitchen, and I'll just walk off to my room, and my mom would be like, hello, we are like doing stuff here. Where are you going? And I realized, oh, okay, I'm going into my room. So probably it's like my brain is taking me there. It's not like I'm not going, what you call it, willingly. It's like more of a subconscious thing. I just need to be in a room away from others so I can just like drift off into a daydream and, let out everything that's in my mind.
Has that resulted, or has MD resulted in purposefully like building your day around finding opportunities to be alone? Or do you just kind of coast through your day and grab them when the opportunity presents itself?
I personally, if I'm in school or something, or have a job, I don't have the opportunity to structure my day around it, but absolutely it takes precedence over way too much.
Yeah, but for me, for example, like when I have to study, so when there are days off and I know I have to study, I say like, now you need to study for 2 hours and then you can daydream, or the other way around, which most of the time doesn't work because I'm going to daydream anyway. But like I try to plan it around, but most of the time just the daydreaming interferes with anything else. So
I guess that's kind of in some ways in which it holds us back. But are there ways in which it helps you to get through the day?
Well, it helps. I have big problem with social anxiety, so when I screw up in conversation, like even now, I could kind of soothe the wound with daydreaming. It's kind of like dissociating from your emotions, but it does help in the moment.
for me, it helps to relieve stress when I'm like stressed all day or something like that. Then I can like distance myself from like stressed situation or day and get, or it helps me to handle emotions a bit better.
It definitely helps me throughout my day because for me, like I'm usually alone, and that's how I feel like I developed maladaptive daydreaming in the first place. And like you're not supposed to be alone, right? I feel like it's like natural for you to be around people, but if you're not, your brain needs some way to fill out that space. So like when like I know a lot of people, if they're alone, they'll just switch on the TV or have some background noise. Sometimes you don't have access to a TV or background noise, and then you like feel really alone. So in that way, I feel like my daydreaming does help me throughout the day. Like I'll be quote unquote talking to my imaginary friends or something, just to feel like I'm not doing this thing alone, like even at work, or like when I'm doing anything. So I'll be like talking to someone in my head just to make myself feel better. And it's like also helps in like letting out emotions that you wouldn't normally, like just getting angry. You can't really, it sometimes you can't get angry at people for whatever reason. So but with maladaptive daydreaming, I can just let out the anger without harming anyone, if that makes sense. So yeah, it does help me throughout my day.
Another thing, it helps with emotions, like you said, processing them. It can also help you kind of structure your thoughts. Like, do Do you ever start like putting on a TED talk for your imaginary people?
Oh, all the time, all the time.
It helps you kind of sort out your thoughts and opinions on things.
We had a question pop up from the audience. Halo was wondering, like, when something surprises you during the day, when something comes up that you weren't expecting, how difficult is that to I don't know, handle, or easy in maybe? Does your daydreaming help you to face something unexpected? Does it make everything worse?
So for me, it's like I have to get out of a daydream and like have to do something unexpectedly. I normally get like sometimes pretty stressed because I like to plan things ahead. So get stressed and want to daydream even more when it's like unexpected, like emotional thing or news or something like that. Then daydreaming helps because I can like build it into my daydream and cope with it better. So that's depending on like the situation. Like when somebody interrupts my daydreaming, I don't know, it also depends on the situation. So when it's just short, I can just go back into my daydream, and when it's like for a longer time, I'm like often a bit, I don't know another word, but like stressed, or yeah, I don't know, really I really want to go back into my daydream and can't really deal with the situation, or I want to go back.
It doesn't like really help me in a way, but because if anything, I'll just act. I'll be like really awkward if someone surprises me because I wasn't mentally prepared for it. Because I do like mentally prepare for conversations all the time. But yeah, I don't think MD helps me in situation where like something or somebody surprises you.
Both you and Marie just mentioned like planning. So would you guys say, just in general, are you like, as a person, a planner or like a go with the flower?
A disorganized planner who makes plans and then completely abandons them.
Yeah, something like that. I do like to plan things out, like especially conversations, so like I know what to say when the time comes. Otherwise, I guess I'll be like really awkward. But like yeah, I prefer to have things planned out so I'm not like freaking out. But I think I've been working on that. So like even if something unexpected shows up, I think the current me will be able to handle it. Like especially like phone conversations, like if I had to call someone at work or even at home, I'll just be like yeah, especially at work I would definitely practice the whole conversation and like think of all the scenarios that might happen and make sure I have like response for all of them.
Yeah, so for me, like especially with like phone calls, it's like I have to plan to do a phone call. Like when I want to do a phone call, like I don't know, it's 8 p.m. I have to plan it like 2 minutes before I want to do it because I like do it all and all over again. And I generally like to plan things, so I want to know what I have to do on in that day.
I'm just going to straight up ask, but feel free to not answer. Are you guys good at what you do? Like, are you good students? Are you good at your jobs?
I mean, I try to be good at it, but I doubt that I am.
I'm an angel, a model student.
I was always a fantastic student, but it was a really weird, exhausting sort of balancing act.
Yeah, so I'm actually also a good student, or what I would say a good student. So I don't really have problems just before, like when I'm studying.
I think what I wanted to ask, but I got stuck on the weird direct question. But I think more to the point is how would you say you look from the outside? Do you look like an overachiever, like an average person? Do you look like an awkward weirdo that maybe they should avoid? Like what do you think you look like from the outside?
I would go for the awkward weirdo.
I feel like I look pretty normal from the outside.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I don't even know how, like, I would just say norm.
Do you ever zone out in the middle of a conversation, or like you catch yourself making faces at a daydream in public? I do that all the time. I think people think I'm crazy.
I always zone out in the middle of conversations, and it's like really embarrassing.
Are you zoning out now?
I think I zoned out for months, but like mostly not. Like if it's like an interesting conversation, I won't. But if it's not, if I'm just like, talking to the person, or like if it's not as interesting, then there are like good chance that I'll zone out, and I do zone out, and it's really embarrassing.
I do that too. I daydream while people are like talking to me, and it makes me come off as a person who doesn't listen or care.
Yeah, I get that a lot as well, where people are like, "Hello, are you listening?" And then I'm like, "Oh shit, sorry, yes, I was listening." And then this thing that I can't really explain to you, it's always so awkward. But at least I feel like among us maladaptive daydreamers, we kind of understand where when we talk to other people who aren't aware of maladaptive daydreaming, or they don't know what it is or whatever, to them it seems like we're really rude, or we're bored, or we just don't care and stuff like that. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, like you can't tell the person that, oh, sorry, I zoned out, because it'll be like, oh, am I that boring that you zoned out? So,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah. So I just pretend that like I heard what they say, and then like try to respond in the best way possible.
It's like when I ask questions and you don't hear the question, or they talk about something and you just reply with yeah.
Yeah.
And just hope that somehow it links. Yeah, like, can you daydream and get other things done at the same time? Like, I know that some maladaptive daydreamers can do chores while daydreaming. That's what I do. Can you daydream and get other things done at the same time?
Well, it doesn't usually help, but I mean, I'm kind of doing that right now. You can do a conversation with real life people and a conversation with fake people all at once.
For me, like the active daydreaming, I can't do other things. So I normally pace around in my room and I can't get other things done. And it's like passive, or I'm looking for inspiration or something like that. Then I can like do the chores or something like that. The active part, which is like most of the day, I just pace around in my room and can't really do anything else.
And Miriam?
Well, I can't daydream and have conversations at the same time, but for other things, I think I can do. Yeah, I think I can multitask.
I definitely do things at the same time, but I don't do either well. First of all, whatever task I'm doing is not going to be that well attended to, and neither is the daydream. So even though I've been daydreaming while doing this, it's not as fulfilling or as deep as it would normally be.
Milk in the cupboard, glass in the fridge.
Yeah, I've done that.
I found a marker in my fridge just yesterday. Like I'm always leaving stuff in weird places because I'm not paying attention to anything.
Yeah, I have this thing that something will be right in front of me and I won't be able to see it because I don't know, maybe I can focus.
I am wondering if we should have started this podcast like doing like give us a rundown of your day to day, like wake up, do this, do that, go to work, whatever.
Um, I think my day would be like I wake up, I just pick up my phone. I think everyone does that. And then for the next 2 hours, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. 2 hours later, I'd be like, what? It's been 2 hours? I need to get out of bed. I'll get out of bed and I start my day. I have like literally many different ways of like where I stick to my task. So I have a whiteboard. I used to have a little notebook where I would like note down everything I did for the past half an hour, which was really weird. I don't know if anyone else does it, but like I had to like I would literally like I need to have everything really structured to make sure I don't drift off into daydream. So Yeah, I make like a day planner after I wake up to make sure like I have everything figured out and I try to stick to it. But at the end of the day, I usually realize that I should have left some time where I could like just unwind and let my thoughts out, because if I don't have that space, I end up daydreaming even more. Yeah, but I mean, like sticking to that day plan is that's the hard part. I have a lot of things just to keep me under control. Like I have app blockers, I have website blockers, I have weekly planners, day planners. I have a lot of things just to make sure that, I stay productive and I get the stuff done.
I'm a bullet journal fan myself as far as like day planners go. I'm bad at using them because I constantly lose them. But when I do have them, they do work nicely.
Back when I was in high school, I'd basically be just, yeah, I spent a lot of the morning running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get myself together and spacing out a lot along the way. And then I'd be at school and kind of slowly wake up. And then I'd start daydreaming and trying to absorb information while also constantly trying to restick my brain to the present moment. It's not easy.
Marie, what does a normal day for you look like?
We have online classes, so it's not. So I wake up normally really early, even if I don't have classes in the morning. I wake up early and daydream for like 2-3 hours, and then I have an online class or I have to go to work. And I normally like I can focus on activities in class as long as there's like no real trigger for daydreaming. Then I in the afternoon I normally have to like study, and that is more difficult. So I spend a lot of time daydreaming after my classes or after I or come back from work. Then I daydream and try to study. Maybe like get to study like half an hour and then go back into a daydream and try to focus on studying again. And yeah, so then in the evening is normally like when I daydream all of the time. So I can't really do anything like after maybe 10 p.m. or something like that, because I'm constantly daydreaming until like early in the morning at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah, I feel like half of my day is a fight too. I the mornings are pretty busy. I have to get my son to school. But when I get home, then the entire rest of the day until I need to pick him up is a battle between I should do the dishes, but what I want to do is go upstairs and lie down. But I should put another load in the dryer. But I wanna go upstairs and lie down, like, just that all day, and sometimes the dryer wins, and sometimes the bed wins. What do you think a day would look like if you didn't have MD?
More productive.
Yeah, definitely more productive.
Yeah, I also think like more productive, but I actually don't really know. I like the past years I made so much time like for daydreaming and stuff. I actually don't really know what I would do, because like I can't be studying like the 8 or 9 hours I do my daydreaming. So I don't know what I would do if I don't daydream at all.
That is so true. Marie makes a good point. MD starts so young in most people that we don't even know what a life without, daydreaming at least a few hours a day. So is there even really is there even any way to answer a question like that?
It's just crazy to think that it's such a core part of many people's lives, and they don't even know. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't know that there's a community for them.
Oh, that makes me think too. Okay, so when I finally told my husband about it, so much more of me made sense to him because and still, I mean, continues to this day because he was just missing one piece of the puzzle. He was missing the daydreaming piece. And as soon as he had that, like all the other pieces started to make sense because it touches so much of my life. It drives so much of my weird behavior that what he thought were independent quirks are all actually rooted in the same thing. Like, when I still listen to music, you know, my need to listen to the same song 36 times in a row. That, you know, like my marker in the fridge the other day. Oh God, what else? Just 1,000 little things like that.
Yeah, I feel that like a lot of people, for me also personally, when I made them aware of maladaptive daydreaming and I explained it to them, they understood. Like for me, you know, the need to want to be alone. And I know that my mother, especially, she never understood why I just wouldn't come out of my room and say hello to the guests. And it's like, well, no, I didn't want to be in social situations, you know. So yeah, no, I definitely get that as well. But I also just the way Jack just said, my day would be way more productive. Just as simple as that. I can 100% agree with that because MD has this thing of just it's like an invisible barrier to the things that you have to do every single day. So having a day without maladaptive daydreaming would be, I don't know, I guess it really would be way more productive, and I guess it would be sort of easier to just get to the stuff that you need to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, an invisible barrier. That's such a good way to put it.
I feel like I would be like a better version of myself if I didn't MD, because yeah, like it affects my focus, it affects my productivity. And the hard part is obviously like the like not being able to explain it to anyone. You're just like even like before I found out about maladaptive daydreaming, I would just be like, yeah, I'm probably just weird. But then when I found out about it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. First thing was like, oh, so there are other people who do it too. It's not just me. There's nothing wrong with me. And then like it also, I was like, okay, so once you know about something and you can like put a term to it, I think it makes it more tangible, so you can like actually like figure out how to manage it, deal with it. Otherwise, just like, oh, I'm just weird.
Yeah, that's what the podcast is for. More people are gonna understand themselves better.
Oh yeah, hopefully. It's what we want, right?
Yeah.
I feel like without it, I would be more present in my interactions with people.
There were one block of your day where you could just guarantee that you wouldn't daydream and you'd be able to be present at least as much as an average person can be. Like which block of your day would you choose to have that on? Like I would pick right as my son gets home from school. That way we can hang out for a while and play and whatever.
Aw, I'd pick night so I could sleep. It's not as sweet as yours.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, nighttime does sound good too.
Currently, because we have exams coming up, I pick like the time I'm studying. If not, like I have free time, I would say when I have like plans with my friends, and when like we plan to meet, and sometimes I just don't want to go outside, even so I like even I if I want to meet them, but I also don't want to go out, or like I want to continue daydreaming, like that part of the day, like when I meet someone I actually want to meet or want to spend time with, but I just like on the other hand don't want to because I want to continue daydreaming. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Miriam?
I don't think there's a particular block. I would prefer there was like I didn't daydream the whole day. But yeah, like there are some times when I'm not naturally drifting into daydreams, like when I'm with my friends or like if I'm having a good time. So I don't usually drift into daydreams during those times, but no, yeah, I don't think I have a particular block. But like what I've noticed is that if I'm having a good day or a good time with my friends and I didn't daydream as much, and I'll be like, oh, okay, this day went well, no, not much daydreaming today. But then at the end of the day, I'll end up making up for it before going to sleep anyways. So it's like I just need that. Like some people like to have it slow. Some people prefer to have things in a very fast paced environment, and some people prefer to have things slow, and so I guess I'm like one of those people. I just need to have some like alone time, or like if that makes sense.
You get I don't know, I guess my answer to what would your day look like if you weren't an MDer, because I don't think it would just be more productivity. I think that I would be I mean, well, I guess it depends on if it went away overnight or if I never had it to begin with. If I never had it to begin with, I mean, I'd be so much further along in my career. I would definitely have more children. The only reason I put off having more children is because of MD. I I passed let promotions pass me over for MD, so I would definitely be further along in my career. And I'd be more articulate and social because I would have gotten the socialization that I needed when I was younger. Like I really think it doesn't come down to productivity. I think it would be a completely different person.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because us as maladaptive daydreamers, we never think about this. We never think about, or rather, not think about, but we never realize how much different we would be altogether if we didn't have MD. Like maybe we'd see other people and we'd be like, "Damn, okay, I'm different from you because you don't have maladaptive daydreaming and I do, and I can see the differences." But we don't really realize how different we would be just as people, which is an interesting thing to, yeah, realize.
Yeah. And I'm not saying those differences are good or bad. I do not regret, you know, the life I have or the husband I have or the son I have at all. It would just be very, very different.
I just wanted to say, I think it's like also I would be like a bit closer to my friends, so maybe I could spend more time with them, or yeah, like longer parts. So I always like I can do like a few hours without like wanting to daydream when I'm with my friends, but like at some part it always like cuts in, and I want to go home, and yeah. So maybe, or I don't know if I would be like a completely different person, but I think I would be definitely closer to my friends, maybe.
I think that for me personally, if I didn't have MD, I'd be way less anxious of a person because for me, being a tattoo artist and having my own studio, my maladaptive daydreaming adds so much anxiety to when I get to see new people and I don't know them at all. And I keep daydreaming about these people and like, are they going to be nice to me? Are they going to arrive in a bad mood? All that type of stuff. And this applies to a bunch of other things in my life as well, which just makes me completely anxious. But definitely, if I didn't have maladaptive daydreaming, I would not be dealing with as much anxiety and social anxiety, especially that I am right now, which is in part mainly because of maladaptive daydreaming. Like it's just constantly me daydreaming about the worst scenarios, and that just adds to anxiety. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
We have a question in the text channel. Are you trying to quit? Why or why not? And if so, how's that going for you?
I'm like always trying to quit, but like not like I don't want it to be like zero because I do need it in some situations. But yeah, I am definitely trying to reduce it. And I think I have reduced it a lot in the past few months, but like depending on the day, sometimes it gets really worse. Like for me, I don't know if it's the same with you guys. Like what I've noticed in my case is like I need it for emotional regulation, right? So it's not just like negative emotions, but also positive emotions. So like if I have like a really exciting day, I also end up daydreaming, not just like when I'm anxious or stressed out. I remember like once I ended up talking to this friend after a really long time, and I think we talked for an hour. And after until like 2 days after that, I was like like my dreaming had like intensified to like two folds because I was excited. So it's really strange.
Yeah, like I'm also trying to reduce it. It happened a bit like naturally that it reduced when I like started university, and it got like I had a lot more to do. So during my time in like high school, I daydreamed way more than now. But I didn't, or like I don't really know how to reduce it because I always like go back into daydreaming. I tried a couple times. I also tried like how do you say that? To cut down on like social media or something like that to delete all the apps. It, like didn't really work. It just made me more stressed out. So I'm just trying to like actually do more, so I don't need to daydream that much.
Jack, what about you? You trying to kick it?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, I'm not trying right now because I don't have anything to replace it with because it's like a coping thing and a way to pass the time. So, not right now, but I do want to eventually be completely daydream free.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing like I'm shooting for balance. I definitely want to get rid of maladaptive daydreaming, but I don't have any goal to get rid of daydreaming completely. Like I want absolute control. I want to be able to turn it on and off like a light switch.
Yeah.
In the short term, I think that means cutting out as much daydreaming as possible so that I can rewire my brain. But once I get past that, like as soon as I can turn the switch on and off, I will have no qualms about indulging whenever the heck I feel like it.
Would it be saying, well, I may be wrong, but would it be similar to sort of aiming to go from maladaptive daydreaming to immersive daydreaming, where you don't have your daydreams interfere with stuff that you have to do, but it's still immersive and it still helps you, just chill and yeah.
I don't think we have to aim for that because we are already immersive daydreamers. We will, in theory, always be immersive daydreamers. That is not a trait we can just discard.
Yeah.
But I know what you're. I think I know what you're asking, and the simple answer is yes. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, so for me too, I would like to be able to like just control it a bit better.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the aim. Like try to make it immersive and remove the maladaptive part.
And then I guess there's some people who say, where it's like an addiction. Like you can't do that. You can't be an alcoholic and then just be like, oh, I'm just gonna have one drink today after you've been sober. But I don't think that's true. In our case, I have no idea in other addictions, but in our case, I think we can. I hope we can.
Tune in next time for more Parallel Lives.
Ta-da! That's it for this episode of Parallel Lives. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you are, down in the description. We're going to have links to a few communities, a couple of resources. We post episodes on the 1st and 16th of every month. So see us here in a couple weeks. Okay. Okay, bye.
Wait. I just wanted to add, if anyone's listening to these podcasts and you are a maladaptive daydreamer and would like to be part of the audience or be part of the guests, then please feel free to check out the description and join the Discord, and then give yourself the podcast role in the Discord, and then you can join us. You'll be able to see when we record and yeah, what we're asking in the next episodes, what the topic will be, and yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to add that.
That's great.